So the reality is that the odds are heavily against marriages that begin as affair relationships. And Mark's quoted other statistics here before in our Thriving Marriage podcast. Something like 10 or maybe 12% end up actually working out because they're not built on a healthy foundation. They're built on lies. They're built on distrust. They're built on broken promises. So the reality is that most relationships that start because of an affair have really bad odds.
Welcome, brothers. In today's video, we're going to see women who gave it all for a man. Women who gave their best years to become the mistress of an alpha. We'll look at the case of a single mother of 3 children who was used by a man as his mistress. But before we proceed, brothers, we want you to support us in our goal for the coming months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want the family to keep growing. So please support us by subscribing and liking the video, as this helps YouTube recommend our content more. Don't forget to leave your comments. Without further ado, let's begin.
So what are the stats of affairs? And what are the chances that a long-term affair will turn to a lasting relationship? Not good. Okay, you can pause to read this, but basically 75%, and I've read ones that say 80% of marriages that started as an affair end in divorce. Considering about only 5 to 7% actually make it into the marriage stage, it's a really bad statistic. And here, I'm just going to go through some of the reasons why this is, so you can pause to read this. You can pause to read this. I'll move myself out of the way. And you can pause to read this. I'm not making things up just because I don't want you guys to end up in a relationship or because I think it's so awful. I'm telling you and warning those who are on the cusp, who think they've met their soulmate, but really, in reality, they're experiencing something called limerence and the flame addiction. I'm trying to wake you up to truth because feelings can be manipulated.
Brothers, have you ever realized that every decision a woman makes in a relationship with a man ultimately has to be the man's fault? Because if you, as an adult, get into a relationship with a married man, it's either the man's fault or yours for staying in this relationship. Because women are very good at leaving a healthy marriage with the stupid pretext of not being happy. But when they become the mistress of Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed, this man who puts them through a roller coaster of emotions, as that woman says, they become addicted to the flames, to the risk of not being discovered, to doing forbidden things. These women are addicted to this adrenaline. After they realize that the married man won't leave his wife, it means they were manipulated, that they gave him their best years, that he just played with them. But of course, it's when the man wants to exit that relationship that they still want to continue receiving the benefits of being the other woman. Brothers, this is where I wonder, why are they so intelligent when it comes to leaving a good man, ruining him in divorce, but not so intelligent to know that they are getting into a bad situation with a married man? Where does this false solidarity among women go?
Spending time alone with the opposite sex is a surefire way to develop an emotional connection that will lead to an affair. Now, before you get all defensive, hear me out. This is how affairs start. You develop an emotional connection with someone of the opposite sex. Oftentimes this happens where you're sharing frustrations about your marriage, or there's kind of some flirtation at work or whatever. But if you have the hard line boundary in your marriage that the wife does not spend time alone with men that are not her immediate family, like brother or dad or whatever, and the husband does not spend time alone with women that are an immediate family, you're setting yourself up for success because you have this standard that you're both in agreement on. Why would you not have that to protect your marriage with how high the divorce rate is because of affairs? Protect yourself, protect your marriage, your family from this by setting this standard. I cannot stress it enough. This is vitally important for guarding your marriage from infidelity.
I completely agree. How many men have seen their wives talking about a friend, a coworker, or some friend they chat with, and then you tell your love that you don't want her to spend so much time with that guy? She just says, he's just a friend. Stop being insecure. But as a man, you can see or sense this man's intentions with your wife. Then their conversations become more frequent, to the point where you only see them getting intimate with this man, the one they told you not to worry about. Brothers, let's not deceive ourselves. If a lot of time is spent with the opposite sex, it can lead to developing feelings or a certain comfort with that person. It's not about being jealous. It's about being cautious. This applies equally to men. If at some point you don't have an attractive woman in your life who you're interested in, but there's a woman always sharing time with you, there comes a point where you develop feelings for her beyond her physical appearance. You know that she doesn't attract you physically, but she treats you so well that you stay with her for that reason. So, be careful and protect your relationship.
I dated a married man for 3 years. Things you say after a toxic relationship that people go, what? This dude had a whole ass wife, a whole ass family. And I just thought this was normal. I thought it was normal that he was, only separated and not divorced. Until the whole time, until today. We went ring shopping. He took me ring shopping. This was not Caitlin's idea. He took me ring shopping. We went to open houses together because we wanted to live together. This man was fully integrated into my life. He met my children. We were having family dinners together. But I was never allowed to post us on social media. I was never allowed to advertise that I was in a relationship. And I didn't get to meet his family because he's married. Why did I think this was so normal? Dude fucked me up. But what part of my brain malfunctioned where it was like, yeah, that's totally fine. Nothing about that sentence is fine. 3 years of my life gone to this fucking man.
3 years of her life spent doing, you know what I mean. That's what I'm telling you. When a woman is looking for a potential husband, not even the FBI can beat her in investigating this man. But when she wants to live, she endures everything. Because my question is, brother, what was the relationship like for this single mother for 3 years? This man would go to her house to do his work, then he would go back to his own place. He would take her out to eat, buy her things, but after spending a long day, he would leave her house. What really happened is that this man had her as a boyfriend. He provided for her financially and didn't burden her. You know that she least likes taking care of the man. He never went to her house, partly because he probably told her not to, but also because she probably didn't feel like going to clean or help him at his place. That's why she didn't really try. I'm sure this man knew that as a single mother, she would only be there for fun, not as a woman he would offer commitment to. Because we know not everyone wants to take on the sins of another man. Am I wrong, brothers?
This person is saying sometimes affairs do work out. Sure, sometimes, but it's not very likely. And leaving comments like this and trying to boast about your experience is reckless. I'm over here warning people of the dangers. If there's a storm that's about to hit and everybody knows, you're not going to tell somebody, hey, I know that there's a storm and you'll probably get shipwrecked or die, but go ahead and do it. I once was in a storm in a boat and it worked out great for me. Yeah, sometimes you do shipwreck on an island with lots of resources and the natives take you in and it's warm and inviting. But most of the time, people don't fare so well. They go out in the boat, the storm hits, the boat capsizes, and then everybody in the boat, everybody around them, everybody gets hurt and damaged. Sure, you could end up okay, but why take the risk? That's what I'm saying.
Brothers, an affair is like a job. It's always good to do it for a short time. Afterward, you want to leave and not come back until the next day. But when a woman knows that she's transitioning from being a mistress to a wife, she has more responsibility towards the man. That's why only 5% of affairs end up working when the man leaves his wife. The mistress only receives the good. She doesn't deal with the problems. She doesn't have to take care of you when you're sick. She doesn't have to visit your home. She doesn't have to do anything other than provide affection, nights of passion, and listen to your complaints. That's why some women prefer to be mistresses for years. They even tell the man not to leave his wife and give him advice on how to maintain that relationship. Because she wants to receive the best from her high-value man, while also maintaining that adrenaline rush. Brothers, women prefer to share an alpha man than settle for a beta man. And when he leaves them, they come up with the story that they were manipulated.
Have you ever had an interloper in your relationship? I'm not talking about someone trying to have an affair with your spouse or, cheat with your boyfriend or girlfriend. But do you have people who just won't stay out of your business in your relationship or who are always trying to triangulate or cause drama? These people can even be in your own family. And after my husband and I were married for a while, I just started to realize that these individuals did not have our best interests at heart. There were even friends of my husband's who would literally throw hissy fits when he couldn't hang out with them because we already had plans together. Again, these people may be your own family members or his own family members who just cannot stay out of your business. And when they don't get the tea, they get mad, they go off and they try to spin some kind of crazy story because all their nervous systems know is drama. These are also the same individuals who will scapegoat the woman in the relationship over and over again instead of realizing that, hey, maybe my friend or maybe my brother or son or cousin actually has a priority, and that's called his marriage. So do you have interlopers like that in your relationship? I have boundaries with them now, big time, but it was definitely an issue early on.
Welcome to the world of every man who has a mother-in-law who makes life impossible in their marriage. In this case, the man or the woman must be very careful. Not everyone around you has good intentions for you. We, as men, are here to lead the relationship. So, when we lead, we always take into account the advice or opinions we receive because someone in love doesn't understand, listen, or see, but those on the outside can analyze your relationship and say, this isn't right, as a friend. But the same goes for women, especially when they have friends who are single in their 30s. Because we all know that a woman's worst enemy is another woman. How many friends don't constantly say negative things about their friend's partner, interfering in their relationship, giving their opinions on everything, and then they end up seeing how their friend flirts with the man? She's supposed to be her friend. This happens every day. Women and mothers who have had disastrous relationships trying to advise their friend or daughter end up ruining their own marriage as well. Because they tend to think they know more about relationships when they're not in one than when they are. Be cautious, brothers, of the poisonous tongue disguised as good advice. You always have to discern whether what someone tells you is good for you or something that will ultimately work against you. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about women who are the mistresses of a Chad? What do you think about intruders in your relationship? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.